Welcome back to my channel. Today we explore the value of specific coin, the top 5 most valuable USA gold-plated $1 coins value in today's market. So let's get started. First up, the years 1789 to 1797, and notably showing no mint mark. We'll explore everything about this coin, its origins, its features, what makes it intriguing to collectors, and most importantly, how much it's actually worth in the market today. This video will cover both the history and the realistic the value of this coin in its current collectible state. Let's begin with some context. The coin in question is part of the presidential $1 coin program launched by the United States Mint. This series began in 2007 and aimed to honor former U.S. presidents by issuing dollar coins featuring their portraits. The first in the series, quite fittingly, was George Washington, the nation's first president. Although the obverse design shows the years 1789 to 1797, the span of Washington's presidency, the actual minting year of these coins, is not reflected on the coin's face. Instead, like all coins in the presidential series, the date and mint mark were placed on the edge of the coin. However, many of the coins that people come across appear to be gold in color, even though the U.S. Mint did not strike these coins in gold. These gold-colored coins are usually standard presidential dollars that have been privately gold-plated after minting. It's important to clarify that the gold plating was not done by the U.S. Mint. This modification was often performed by private companies or individuals for commemorative or novelty purposes. Because of that, gold-plated presidential coins are considered altered pieces in the eyes of professional numismatists and are not typically treated as rare or premium collectibles. Now, let's take a closer look at the no mint mark feature. Many people believe that coins without a mint mark are rare, and sometimes that is true. But in the case of these George Washington dollar coins, the mint mark is not absent. It's simply located on the edge of the coin, along with the date and motto inscriptions. If a coin genuinely has no mint mark, it may be due to a minting error, or more commonly, wear and tear, or post-mint alterations such as plating, which can obscure these details. The gold plating can also make the edge lettering difficult to see or read, leading people to think the coin is unique or rare. In most cases, it is not. The underlying coin remains a common dollar coin minted in the millions, and the gold plating is only a thin cosmetic layer that does not add precious metal value or rarity in a collector's market. Now let's talk about the actual value in today's market. A standard George Washington presidential dollar coin in circulated condition, even without a visible mint mark, typically holds face value in good condition, meaning no major scratches or damage, but not uncirculated, or in mint state, it might sell for a little above $1. Usually between $1 to $3, depending on the buyer. The gold-plated versions do look attractive, and some sellers market them as special or limited edition items. But numismatic experts generally do not assign any added value to them because they are altered after minting. That being said, some collectors or patriotic enthusiasts may still purchase these gold-plated coins out of personal interest or for novelty purposes. In those cases, private sales might bring prices around $3 to $5. Occasionally a little more if the coin comes with original packaging from the company that plated it or a certificate of authenticity. But it's important to understand that this value is not based on scarcity or precious metal content. It's purely based on presentation and novelty appeal. If the coin is in very high quality, say in uncirculated or proof-like condition, and the plating is well applied and shiny, some collectors may pay slightly more, sometimes up to $7 or $8, especially if the coin is sold in a display case or part of a commemorative set. But again, this is more about presentation than intrinsic or numismatic worth. To summarize, the George Washington $1 coin marked 1789 to 1797 and lacking a visible mint mark, when gold-plated and in good condition, is not a rare coin. It is a standard-ass mint issue that has been altered post-production. While it may look more valuable due to its golden appearance, it does not contain real gold and is not considered rare by coin grading agencies or serious collectors. Its current market value is modest, ranging from $1 to $5, sometimes slightly higher, depending on packaging and presentation, but not significantly more. If you're holding on to one of these coins and wondering if you should sell it, the best approach is to evaluate whether it has any sentimental or display value to you personally. If you're looking for a high return on a coin like this, it's unlikely. However, if you enjoy collecting unique-looking pieces or assembling a full set of the presidential dollars, then it still holds value in terms of enjoyment and historical appreciation. Next up, the Rutherford B. Hayes, 1877 to 1881 gold-plated $1 coin. If you're a coin collector, a history enthusiast, or just someone curious about the worth of coins found in your pocket change or inherited from a relative, you've come to the right place. Let's start by understanding what this coin is and why people are interested in it. The Rutherford B. Hayes $1 coin is part of the United States presidential $1 coin program. which began in 2007 and ran through 2016. The program was authorized by the Presidential $1 Coin Act of 2005. Its purpose was to honor U.S. presidents by issuing $1 coins featuring their portraits in the order in which they served. Each year, 4 different presidential coins were released, each bearing the likeness of a former U.S. president. Rutherford B. Hayes served as the 19th President of the United States. From 1877 to 1881, his coin was released in 2011 as part of that year's series, alongside Ulysses S. Grant, James A. Garfield, and Andrew Johnson. The obverse of the coin features a portrait of Hayes, along with his name, the years of his presidency, and the motto, "In God We Trust." The reverse features a rendition of the Statue of Liberty, a consistent feature throughout the entire presidential $1 coin series. Now, the first thing that needs to be clarified is that the Rutherford B. Hayes dollar coin was never struck in gold. These coins were minted in a golden-colored manganese brass alloy that gives them a distinctive appearance, but they contain no actual gold content. However, some of these coins have been privately gold-plated by third parties after they left the U.S. Mint. These altered coins are often sold as novelty or commemorative items. It's important to note that the U.S. Mint never issued or authorized gold-plated versions of these coins. That means they are not official Mint products in their gold-plated form. This brings us to the question of value. A common misconception is that the presence of gold plating automatically makes a coin more valuable. In reality, most collectors view gold-plated coins as damaged or altered because they are no longer in their original mint-issued condition. This dramatically lowers their desirability and numismatic value. The value of these gold-plated coins is generally limited to their novelty appeal, and most serious collectors will avoid them altogether when building their sets. So, if you have a gold-plated Rutherford B. Hayes 1877 to 1881 dollar coin with no mint mark, and it is in good condition, meaning it shows signs of wear but all major design elements are visible and the text is legible, what can you expect in today's market? The answer, in most cases, is not much, because the coin has been altered by gold plating and has no mint mark, which likely means it was produced in Philadelphia. Since Philadelphia coins from this series typically bear no visible mint mark, it does not carry any additional collector premium. In today's market, a gold-plated Rutherford B. Hayes dollar coin in good condition typically sells for around $1, which is its face value. Sometimes, if sold as a novelty or in a decorative holder, it may fetch slightly more, perhaps between $2 to $3. However, this additional value comes from the novelty of the plating and the presentation, not from the coin itself. If the coin were unplated in an uncirculated condition or part of a special collector's sets as a proof coin from the San Francisco Mint or a satin finish from a special mint set, it might be worth more, possibly up to a few dollars depending on condition and demand. But again, a gold-plated version, in circulated or good condition, is generally not considered collectible by traditional standards. It's also important to consider the market environment. Coin values can fluctuate based on collector interest, availability, and broader economic conditions. But altered coins like gold-plated dollars rarely see significant appreciation, even if you see listings online where such coins are priced at $10, $20, or even $50. It's crucial to check the actual selling prices rather than listing prices. Many of those higher prices are speculative and often do not reflect what buyers are actually willing to pay. In summary, while the Rutherford B. Hayes presidential $1 coin is a piece of American numismatic history, the gold-plated version, with no mint mark, in good condition, holds little to no value beyond its face value or possibly a few dollars as a novelty item. If you are looking to sell one, don't expect a windfall. On the other hand, if it holds sentimental value or if you're interested in assembling a collection of novelty coins, it may still be a piece worth keeping. Next up, the gold-plated Warren G. Harding $1 coin, dated between 1921 and 1923, with no mint mark, and what it's worth in today's market when found in good condition. First, let's establish the background. Warren G. Harding served as the 29th President of the United States, holding office from 1921 until his death in 1923. His presidency was short and controversial, marked by several political scandals, but his place in American history is still notable. In recognition of his role as president, the United States Mint included him in the presidential $1 coin program. However, these coins were not originally issued during his lifetime. Instead, they were minted much later, specifically in 2014's part of the Modern series that honored deceased U.S. presidents. So, if you're looking at a coin with Harding's portrait in the years 1921 to 1923 inscribed on it, it's not an original coin from that era. Instead, it's a modern commemorative issue. This is a crucial detail. Many people, especially those unfamiliar with the presidential dollar series, mistake these coins for much older, rarer pieces. The date range on the coin refers to the years Harding served in office, not the year the coin was minted. Now, let's talk about the mint mark. Some of these coins were struck at the Philadelphia Mint, which traditionally does not include a mint mark. Others were produced at Denver or San Francisco and carry a small D or S mark respectively. If your coin has no mint mark, it most likely originated from the Philadelphia Mint. This is completely normal and does not indicate an error or special variety. Another critical point is the gold plating. Officially issued U.S. presidential dollars are not made of gold and were never struck in gold by the United States Mint. These coins were minted in a composition known as manganese brass, which gives them a golden color. However, many companies and individuals in the private sector took these coins and plated them in gold for decorative or marketing purposes. These gold-plated coins were not authorized or endorsed by the U.S. Mint, because the plating was done after the coin left the mint. It is considered a form of damage or alteration by professional numismatists. So, what does this mean for value? The value of a coin in the collector's market depends on several factors: rarity, historical importance, demand, and condition. In this case, the coin is not rare. Millions of presidential dollar coins were minted for each president in the series, including Harding. It is also not historically significant in terms of original era coinage, since it's a modern commemorative. Demand is modest at best, with most collectors preferring unaltered coins. As for condition, a coin in good condition is typically on the lower end of the numismatic grading scale. This means it has visible wear and lacks the sharp details seen in higher grade coins. When all of this is taken into account, the coin's numismatic value is minimal. In fact, a gold-plated Warren G. Harding dollar with no mint mark, in good condition, is generally worth only about $1 to $2 US. In some cases, if the plating is done particularly well and the coin is housed in a fancy display, it might be sold to collectors or novelty buyers for around $3 to $5. However, that price reflects the appeal of the presentation rather than the coin's inherent or numismatic value. That in the actual coin collecting market, altered coins, especially those that are plated, painted, or otherwise modified, are considered novelty items. Reputable dealers and grading services like PCGS or NGC do not assign premium value to plated coins because they have been altered after leaving the mint. This removes them from the category of collectible, investment-grade coins. Now, you may wonder why these coins are sometimes advertised as being more valuable. This happens often through online marketplaces or television advertisements, where gold-plated coins are marketed as limited edition or collectible items. They are sometimes sold for $10, $20, or even more. However, those prices are retail markups and do not reflect actual resale value. If you tried to sell that same coin to a coin dealer or through an auction site, you would likely receive less than $1, or perhaps nothing at all, unless the buyer is specifically looking for a novelty piece. It's also worth mentioning that the melt value of the coin, meaning the value of its metal content, is extremely low, since the core composition is not precious metal and the gold plating is often only a few microns thick. There is virtually no precious metal value. The gold plating doesn't add any real market worth in terms of gold content. In conclusion, the gold-plated Warren G. Harding $1 coin with no mint mark, in good condition, is not a rare or highly sought-after item in the world of coin collecting. Its market value today is typically between $1 and $2, sometimes slightly more as a novelty item, but it does not hold any significant collector's premium. If you enjoy it for its visual appeal or as a piece of memorabilia, that's perfectly valid. But from an investment or numismatic perspective, it is not a valuable coin. Next up, the gold-plated 1881 James A. Garfield presidential $1 coin with no mint mark. We'll explore the background of the coin, its intended purpose, and most importantly, its actual value in the current numismatic market, if found. In normal circulated condition, let's begin with a bit of context. The coin in question is part of the United States Mint's presidential $1 coin program. This program launched in 2007 and concluded in 2016, with the goal of honoring former U.S. presidents by issuing $1 coins, bearing their images in the order in which they served. Each coin features a portrait of the president on the obverse, or front, along with their name, the order of their presidency, and their term of office. On the reverse, you'll find an image of the Statue of Liberty. The James A. Garfield dollar coin was released in 2011 as the 20th issue in the series. Garfield served as the 20th President of the United States, albeit for a very brief period in 1881 before his assassination. That historical significance may lead some to believe the coin is rare or highly valuable, but the truth is more nuanced. Now, let's address the phrase gold. The standard James Garfield dollar coin issued by the U.S. Mint is not made of gold. It is composed of a manganese brass alloy, which gives it a golden color but contains no actual gold content. Some private companies, however, have taken uncirculated presidential dollar coins and applied a thin layer of gold plating for decorative or promotional purposes. These modifications are not sanctioned by the U.S. Mint. and they often reduce the collectible value in the eyes of serious numismatists, because altering a coin in this way disqualifies it from being considered original or unaltered. Coins with no mint mark were typically minted in Philadelphia. The absence of a mint mark on the James Garfield dollar indicates it was struck at the Philadelphia Mint. These coins were produced in high numbers, and many remain in circulation or in private hands today. When evaluating the value of one of these coins in normal condition, meaning lightly circulated or showing typical signs of handling, it's important to distinguish between collector expectations and market reality. Despite its age and presidential significance, the James Garfield dollar coin is not rare. Millions were minted, and even though fewer are in circulation today, the supply significantly outpaces the demand. In normal circulated condition, the unaltered James Garfield dollar coin typically holds a market value of around $1, which is its face value. In some cases, coin dealers or collectors might offer slightly more, possibly between $1.50 to $2, if the coin is in better than average condition or if it is uncirculated and kept in protective packaging. But in most everyday scenarios, the value remains at or near face value. Now, what about the gold-plated versions? Here's where things get even more interesting. While the gold plating might look impressive and lead some to believe it increases the coin's value, the reality is different, because the plating is not original and was not part of the U.S. Mint's production process. Gold-plated versions are considered novelty items. The value of a gold-plated James Garfield dollar coin in normal condition is typically still around $1. Some online listings may ask for more, perhaps $5 to $10, but these are often targeted at casual buyers rather than serious collectors. In actual secondary markets, most gold-plated versions do not command a premium. In essence, the added gold plating does not contain enough gold to be worth refining, and its presence may even be seen as damaged from a numismatic standpoint. Collectors of U.S. coins generally prefer pieces that are in their original, unaltered state. So unless the coin is part of a certified high-grade proof set or was issued with an official U.S. Mint packaging and documentation, its monetary value remains minimal. To summarize, the 1881 James Garfield presidential $1 coin, particularly the gold-plated version with no mint mark in average condition, does not hold significant market value in today's collectible coin industry. It may still be a meaningful keepsake or an attractive novelty, but from a strict valuation perspective, it is generally worth about $1. If you happen to own one of these coins, it's a great piece to keep as a part of your personal collection, or to use as an educational item for younger collectors. However, it's unlikely to fetch a premium unless it is in pristine, uncirculated condition, ideally certified by a third-party grading service. Next up, the gold-plated Andrew Johnson $1 coin, dated 1865 to 1869 and issued without a mint mark. We'll explore its origin, clarify common misconceptions, and discuss its actual market value in today's world, particularly in normal, circulated condition with noticeable wear or minor damage. Let's begin with a bit of historical context. Andrew Johnson served as the 17th President of the United States, following the assassination of Abraham Lincoln in 1865. His presidency lasted until 1869. While coins bearing his name and image might suggest they were struck during or shortly after his presidency, that's not the case. The United States Mint did not produce presidential $1 coins in the 19th century. The coin we're talking about was actually minted much more recently. In 2007, the United States Mint began producing the presidential $1 coin program, which honored each U.S. president in the order in which they served. These coins were made for circulation, collectors, and educational purposes. The Andrew Johnson dollar coin is part of this series and was officially released in 2011. Like others in the series, it is made of a manganese brass alloy, giving it a golden appearance. However, this golden tone is often mistaken for actual gold, which it is not. The coin we're discussing today is one that has been gold-plated after it left the U.S. Mint. That's a crucial detail. Gold-plated versions of the Andrew Johnson dollar coin were not issued by the U.S. Mint. These are post-mint alterations, meaning that a private company or individual coated the coin with a thin layer of gold for aesthetic or novelty purposes. While this may make the coin look more attractive to the untrained eye, it actually diminishes its value to most serious collectors. Many people believe that gold plating increases a coin's value significantly. Unfortunately, the opposite is true. In the world of numismatics, altering a coin in any way, whether it's coloring, carving, plating, or changing its surface, typically removes it from the category of authentic collectible. While the gold-plated coin might still have value as a conversation piece or as a gift item, it does not hold the same value in numismatic circles as an unaltered coin would. Now let's talk about the coin's design. The obverse features a portrait of Andrew Johnson, along with the inscriptions of his name, the order of his presidency, and his years of service. The reverse, like all presidential $1 coins, features the Statue of Liberty and the denomination, $1. There's also edge lettering on the coin that includes the year of issue, the mint mark, and the inscription E pluribus unum, in the specific case we're focusing on today. The coin has no visible mint mark, which likely means it was minted in Philadelphia. Coins from the Philadelphia Mint typically carry no mint mark on the edge when observed in circulation worn examples. Now, let's consider the condition. You mentioned the coin is in normal damage condition. This usually refers to a circulated coin that shows common signs of wear, such as scratches, dullness, and minor edge damage, but no extreme gouges or intentional defacement. In this kind of condition, and especially with a post-mint gold plating, the value of the coin on today's secondary market is, frankly, quite low. As of today's market, a circulated Andrew Johnson presidential dollar coin with no mint mark and gold-plated post-mint typically sells for $1 to $2 at most. In many cases, dealers won't pay more than face value, and some may decline to purchase them altogether due to the plating. If you were to list it on an online marketplace, you might find a buyer willing to pay around $2 to $3 simply for novelty or display purposes. But it's rare to see these coins fetch anything above that. For comparison, an mint condition, Andrew Johnson dollar coin, particularly one in proof or uncirculated condition from a mint set, might bring in a few more dollars, possibly around $3 to $5, depending on grading. But the gold plating, in this case, works against the coin's value from a collector's standpoint. In short, while the Andrew Johnson gold-plated $1 coin may look attractive and carry some personal or decorative value, its monetary worth in today's coin market is very limited. Most collectors seek unaltered coins in original mint condition, and the gold plating not only fails to add intrinsic value but actively lowers the coin's appeal in most numismatic circles. If you come across one of these coins, it's best to consider it as a souvenir or a novelty item. Its true value lies in its educational story, its place in the presidential dollar series, and as a symbol of a unique time in U.S. coin production history, rather than as a high-value collectible. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, share, and up the gold-plated Millard Fillmore $1 coin, specifically those dated between 1850 and 1853, with no mint mark and found in good condition. Before we get into the current market value, let's explore the background of the coin itself. Millard Fillmore served as the 13th President of the United States, holding office from 1850 to 1853. In 2010, the United States Mint released a series of presidential $1 coins honoring former presidents, and Fillmore was among them. These coins were part of a commemorative program and were produced for circulation, collectors, and special issue sets. It's important to understand, however, that while the coin may bear the years 1850 to 1853 to commemorate his time in office, it was not minted during that period. Rather, it was produced over 150 years later, and the year on the coin typically reflects the minting year, not the president's years in office. In the case of the Millard Fillmore coin, it was released by the U.S. Mint in 2010. The coin itself is not made of solid gold. Instead, it is composed primarily of manganese, which gives it a golden appearance. Some versions of these coins have been privately gold-plated after leaving the U.S. Mint. These gold-plated versions were often sold through mail-order offers, novelty coin packages, or souvenir sets, but they were never officially issued as gold coins by the U.S. Mint. This is crucial because, while they may appear golden and sometimes even advertised as rare collectibles, the plating is purely decorative and was not part of the official minting process. Now let's talk about the coin with no mint mark. The lack of a mint mark typically means the coin was struck at the Philadelphia Mint. For the Millard Fillmore presidential dollars, coins from Philadelphia generally do not carry a mint mark on the coin's obverse or reverse. Instead, the mint mark can usually be found on the coin's edge, along with the year and the motto E. However, if you're looking at a gold-plated Millard Fillmore dollar with no visible mint mark at all, including none, the edge could be due to wear, polishing, or plating that has obscured those details. Collectors often ask how much such a coin is worth today, especially when found in circulated or good condition. In the case of a standard 2010 Millard Fillmore $1 coin in circulated or good condition, its face value remains $1. These coins were minted in the millions, and unless in pristine, uncirculated, or error condition, their value does not typically exceed their denomination. Even in uncirculated condition, straight from a mint roll, the value usually ranges from $1 to $3 at most, depending on the condition and demand. But when it comes to gold-plated versions, it's essential to understand that the aftermarket plating adds no numismatic value and, in many cases, may even detract from the coin's collectible appeal among serious numismatists. This is because the plating alters the original state of the coin, making it unsuitable for grading by professional coin certification services. While some gold-plated versions may be sold online for $5 to $10, their true value remains primarily not. In the eyes of seasoned collectors and dealers, such coins are considered altered and are generally not seen as more valuable than the unplated original versions. As of today's market, if you have a Millard Fillmore gold-plated presidential $1 coin from 2010 with no mint mark and it's in good condition, its value typically falls between $1 and $3. If it's heavily worn, it might only fetch its face value. If it's in mint condition, still in its original packaging, or part of a commemorative display, you might be able to sell it for up to $5 to the right buyer, mostly as a novelty item or keepsake. That being said, if you happen to come across an error coin such as one missing edge lettering, struck off-center, or double stamp, those can be worth considerably more, depending on the rarity and visibility of the error. Some error coins have sold for $20 or more, but those cases are exceptions, not the rule. If you're holding on to a gold-plated Millard Fillmore dollar, hoping it's a rare find, it's best to temper your expectations. Unless it contains an unusual minting error or is part of a certified, limited edition, it's unlikely to be worth more than a few dollars. Its primary value lies in its historical and novelty appeal, rather than its material worth or scarcity. In summary, the 1850 to 1853 Millard Fillmore gold-plated presidential dollar coin with no mint mark, found in good condition, typically has a market value of between $1 and $3 as of today. If gold-plated, it may appeal to novelty collectors, but this aftermarket modification does not add true numismatic value. Next up, the gold-plated US $1 coin from 1869 and 1877, featuring the likeness of Ulysses S. Grant, with no mint mark, and preserved in good condition. To begin with, it's essential to clarify a few things. The United States Mint never officially produced a gold-plated $1 coin bearing the portrait of Ulysses S. Grant in the years 1869 or 1877. These coins are typically modern commemoratives or altered coins, created much later for collectors or novelty purposes. Often, they are standard-based metal coins that have been privately gold-plated and sold as collectibles. That said, any coin featuring Ulysses S. Grant with these years and a gold appearance is not a genuine U.S. Mint gold coin, but rather a post-mint alteration. However, there is still interest and market value in such coins, especially among collectors of political memorabilia or Civil War era-themed items. Now, let's talk a bit about Ulysses S. Grant himself. Grant was the commanding general of the Union Army during the American Civil War, and later became the 18th President of the United States, serving from 1869 to 1877. Because of his historical significance, his image has appeared on various U.S. coins and commemorative issues. However, no official $1 coin with his portrait was minted in 1869 or 1877. The U.S. Mint did issue a Grant commemorative coin in 1922, and he has appeared on a few modern dollar coins, but those were all produced much later. So if you are holding a $1 coin that is gold-plated, dated 1869 or 1877, and features Ulysses S. Grant with no visible mint mark, what exactly do you have? In most cases, such a coin is part of a novelty or commemorative collection, sold by private companies in the mid to late 20th century or early 21st century. The gold plating is not pure gold, but rather a thin layer applied for aesthetic value. Because these coins are not official U.S. Mint issues and have been altered after minting, they are not considered legal, tender, or rare numismatic coins in the traditional sense. That said, they can still hold value to the right collector. Now, regarding the market value, in today's collector market, a gold-plated Ulysses S. Grant $1 coin from 1869 or 1877, with no mint mark and in good condition, typically ranges in value from around $5 to $25. The exact price depends heavily on factors such as the quality of the gold plating, the condition of the coin, its origin, and any presentation materials that may come with it, such as certificates of authenticity, display cases, or part of a larger presidential collection set. For example, coins that are housed in official-looking presentation cases or part of a marketed collector set often command slightly higher prices on auction platforms like eBay or collector forums. On the other hand, loose coins without packaging or documentation tend to sell for the lower end of that spectrum, sometimes even under $10. It's also worth noting that while the base coin may have no intrinsic gold value, since the plating is usually only a few microns thick, some people value them as keepsakes, especially if they are fans of American history, the presidency, or Ulysses S. Grant himself. If you are looking to sell such a coin, your best option would likely be online platforms such as eBay, Etsy, or dedicated coin collector groups. Describing the coin clearly, including its date, gold-plated appearance, lack of mint mark, and overall condition, will help attract the right kind of buyer. Keep in mind that because it is not a rare mint error or a precious metal piece, it will not fetch a high price in a traditional coin shop or from a bullion dealer. For those interested in collecting, it's important to approach such coins as pieces of Americana rather than serious investments. They're valued for their design, their historical subject, and their novelty. But they won't typically appreciate significantly in value over time. However, as with all collectibles, rarity and buyer interest can vary, so prices may shift in response to cultural trends or limited supply. To summarize, while a gold-plated Ulysses S. Grant $1 coin dated 1869 or 1877 with no mint mark and in good condition is not a rare or valuable numismatic piece, in the strictest sense, it does hold collectible value. Today, its worth in the collector's market usually falls between $5 and $25, depending on presentation and condition. It remains a fascinating item for those interested in historical commemoratives and American presidential memorabilia. Next up, the gold-plated $1 coin featuring James K. Polk, the 11th President of the United States, dated between 1845 and 1849, and carrying no mint mark. We're going to talk about its design, history, composition, and most importantly, its actual value in today's collector market, particularly in extra-fine condition. So let's get started. First, let's clarify what kind of coin this is. When people hear gold-plated $1 coin from 1845 to 1849, it's easy to assume they're dealing with a rare, historic piece, minted during Polk's actual presidency. However, that is not the case. The United States Mint did not produce any $1 coins bearing the image of James K. Polk during his lifetime. In fact, the coin that we're discussing today is part of a much more recent commemorative or novelty series. This particular coin is not an official issue from the U.S. Mint standard coinage at the time of James K. Polk's presidency. Rather, it is typically a modern presidential dollar coin that has been privately gold-plated and customized. The Presidential $1 Coin Program, which began in 2007 and ended in 2016, was authorized by Congress to honor past presidents. Each coin in the series features a portrait of a U.S. president on the obverse side, with the reverse displaying the Statue of Liberty. The coin honoring President James K. Polk was released as part of this series in the year 2009. These coins were minted in large quantities and were made from a composition of manganese brass, not solid gold. Any version of this coin that appears to be gold is almost certainly a regular mint issue that has been plated with a thin layer of gold by a private company or individual. This means that while they may have visual appeal, they are not rare, nor are they considered more valuable by serious numismatists simply because they have been gold. In fact, the U.S. Mint does not recognize or endorse any aftermarket alterations to its coins, including gold plating. Now, let's focus on the specifics. A James K. Polk $1 coin, minted in 2009, gold-plated by a private party, with no mint mark and in extra-fine condition. In coin grading, extra-fine generally refers to a coin that shows only light wear on the highest points of the design. It still retains most of its original detail and luster, but it clearly shows some signs of circulation. However, when we're talking about modern presidential dollars, especially ones that have been altered post-mint, like being gold-plated, alone doesn't significantly increase their monetary value. Collectors typically look for coins that are either uncirculated or have rare minting errors. Coins in the extra-fine grade do not generally command high premiums, especially if they are from a widely available modern series. Furthermore, the lack of a mint mark suggests that the coin was struck at the Philadelphia Mint, which produced millions of these coins. That further reduces any rarity factor that might influence value. So, what does this all mean for the market value? Despite their shiny appearance and perceived uniqueness, gold-plated presidential dollars generally sell for modest sums. They are often sold as novelty items or collectibles, rather than serious numismatic pieces. On online marketplaces such as eBay or collector forums, a gold-plated James K. Polk $1 coin in extra-fine condition typically sells for anywhere between $1 to $5. Some sellers may ask more than even $20, but the market demand simply doesn't support those prices on a consistent basis. It's worth noting that the gold plating adds little to no intrinsic value. The layer of gold used in such plating is extremely thin, measured in microns, and does not equate to any significant gold weight. The actual melt value of the gold is negligible. Therefore, the price of gold has virtually no effect on the value of this coin. In summary, while the 2009 James K. Polk presidential $1 coin may be an interesting piece to add to a themed collectionist, especially if you're collecting all the presidential dollars, it does not hold significant value from a numismatic perspective, particularly when it has been gold-plated post-mint and is in circulated or extra-fine condition. To put it plainly, its value today is primarily sentimental or aesthetic. If you already own one, it's a fun piece of Americana to display. But if you're thinking of investing in coins, it would be better to focus on unaltered, mint-state examples with low mintages or older historic coins with intrinsic metal value or verified rarity. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, share and subscribe for more coin collecting content. See you and next time. Happy collecting.